Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I'm the Phoenix and today we are going to build the interiors for the east wing of Hogwarts Castle. Let's begin. The library. With many of the interiors, it's quite difficult to tell where they actually are due to movie inconsistencies. But I'm pretty sure that the library is in this wing of the Transfiguration courtyard, so that's where we're going to build it. I have started work on the library, and it has just started to rain, and there's a thunderstorm outside, and it is literally the best thing ever. So I'm vibing, and I'll probably see you when this is done. Have fun with the time-lapse. For the actual bookshelves, I was struggling a bit between making them 3 wide and having 2 rows of 1 wide bookshelves. But in the end, I decided for the latter, just because it looks a bit thinner and sleeker. It's not actually what you can see in the movies, but it just looks better and fits with the walls and the interior. What you can see me building right here is the corridor that we predominantly see in the Half-Blood Prince. It is one of those corridors where you're not actually sure where it is, but this is where I felt like it would fit the best. Right now I'm just adding little details like candles and item frames and lanterns, just to make it look a lot more cozy. Now I'm adding in chiseled bookshelves that we can fill with normal books, just to add a lot more variance to how the bookshelves look. Right here we have Madame Pince's desk. Now that I'm done with that part of the detailing, I'm going to add a lot more with the armor stand mod. Just papers and books lying around on the tables, and it's easier and more customizable than using invisible item frames. So I'm going to go around and add that to all of the tables now. The Transfiguration Classroom. So far we have the Transfiguration Courtyard, but we don't yet have the Transfiguration Classroom. So that will be the next thing I'm going to build. And yeah, I'll walk you through the parts. I hope you enjoy. As you can see, I'm using the Axiom mod to make my life a lot easier and to make building faster. And I've used that around the castle on almost all parts, especially the texturing of the mountains, just so everything gets done faster. In the end, I'm going to change around the design of the wall to be closer to what we can actually see in the movie, but sadly I lost the footage of that. I'm also going to extend the roof to add the windows, and although in this version the building is indoors and has no outside facing windows, the actual version has, but that building is lost in the version that I'm building right now, but it is actually located here. I am all done now with the room, but as you can see, a lot has changed, because my dumbass forgot to hit record when I started changing around the walls and adding the windows. So sadly you won't be able to see that, but I hope you like the room as it is now. The entrance hall. After finishing that, the next interior on our list is the entrance hall of the Durham complex. There's very little information on what this part of the castle actually looks like, because very few scenes take place here, but from what I could tell from the Marauders map, there is a gallery here and an entrance hall that leads into the connecting rooms. So that's what I'm building right here. One important aspect was making it look less dull than it was in the beginning, because all the walls were very bland, so I added some pots and some benches and a few paintings and a few armor stands, and I think that livened up things a lot, especially the large carpet in the center of the entrance hall. It just gives everything a nice, warm, cozy feeling. Right here you can see me adding a connection between the corridor we built earlier and the entrance hall. And because it doesn't line up perfectly, I just added a little room with a bench and an armor stand and a painting, just to make the transition easier. I added a few more interiors, so now we have this random classroom here in the Transfiguration courtyard, but I don't know which specific subject it's for. Connecting to the entrance hall, we have the staff room. It is a bit small, but I felt like a long table would fit best. And then, next to that, we just have another random classroom for somebody to teach. I also added Professor Sprout's office, and it's directly connected to greenhouse number 3. The Charms Classroom. Next on our list is the Charms class, and it's never made quite clear where it actually is, but I feel like placing it up here is a good idea, so I think we do that in a time lapse. Have fun! As you can see, it is pretty accurate to the movie, but it is a bit shorter than I had hoped for, because the space we have here is really limited, and the way in is extremely thin. So I could have made it a lot longer if I had put it somewhere else, but I felt like this was the most fitting part for it. So this is where it is now, and tell me what you think about it. If compared to what we can see in the movie, it looks pretty good though. You might have seen in the time-lapse that I struggled a bit with what the mortals are made of, because it's not actually quite easy to tell from the scenes we have in the movie. But in the end, I was able to pinpoint it down to some kind of wood, and I felt like this represented the colors best. So we have a lot of spruce and a lot of dark oak, and we have some oak, but I think it fits really nicely and it gives this warm, cozy vibe that we get from the scenes in the movie. The study hall. This is the study hall of Hogwarts. It's located at the end of the library, and there's sadly not a lot of scenes that we have on how it looks. One of the few is from the Philosopher's Stone, and I did not manage to get the window to look like it does in the movie because of the problems with the movie interior to exterior, which is also going to come up as a really big problem later on. But I'm going to talk about that when the problem arrives. For now, enjoy. I am basically using the same decoration techniques I already used for the library, so it's basically just a more open version of that. Right here we have one of the two staircases leading up from the study hall. The other one leads to the Charms classroom, and this one leads to the History of Magic classroom and the office connected to that. For this classroom in particular, I felt like going for a very old style with skulls and moss because Professor Binns has probably been teaching here for centuries. The lower east wing. We basically know of no scenes that take place here, so I pretty much had free reign what to build. So I decided for one very long corridor leading along the entire lower part of the east wing, and then just classrooms and bathrooms, but we're going to get to that. Right here we have the boys and girls bathrooms, because I don't think we have built any yet, and of course the students need to go somewhere when they need to go. This is where all the problems start, because looking into where the Hall of Hexes, as it is called, is located, I noticed so many inconsistencies and problems with the interior to exterior work that I will have to work on most of it basically off camera, not being able to comment on anything. I'll just have flashback running. So I'm going to show you a few more interiors that I know for certain where they are. But for instance, for the Hall of Hexes or even for the library, I'll have to see if I need to change a lot around. And that might happen. So what you're seeing right here and what you have seen might not be final, but I bloody hope it is. And you can explore a lot when I give the download, when I'm ready with the interiors and I'm happy with the exterior. But right now, I hope you understand that I won't show you what I'm working on, just because it's really complex and I don't know if what I'm going to build is even going to stay around. So this is what I started doing for the Hall of Hexes and for the Room of Requirement, but it is really confusing and frustrating. So I have a PowerPoint document just trying to draw out what all of the parts of the castle look like, because otherwise you won't be able to figure out any of it. Ravenclaw Tower. The Ravenclaw Tower is the tallest tower in the Durham complex, and it obviously holds the Ravenclaw common room, but there's also this spiral staircase that we can see, for instance, in the Prisoner of Azkaban. And building spirals in Minecraft isn't always the easiest thing, so it took me 2 tries, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. And there's a second spiral going around the first. It's a bit thinner, and luckily I managed space-wise, but it was a bit close. and I really like how it turned out, the final thing. So yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to include walls to smooth out the curves of the tower itself, which would have been bad otherwise. As I told you, the Ravenclaw Tower is located above the spiral staircase, and we can actually enter it through a little spiral staircase that connects to the larger one. And I'm really happy with how much natural light we got in this room because of the large windows that you can see on all four sides of the room. And I tried to make it really open, so there's a big gallery instead of second floor. And I included the enchanted magical sky that we are told it has in the books, because we don't have any scenes in the movie that show us what the room might look like, which I enjoyed because it meant that I could just go on a design spree and choose how I want it to look. So we have this big rug, and we do of course have, because it's the Ravenclaw Tower, a lot of bookshelves and a few nice comfy chairs. Fitting all of the dormitories into the top of the Ravenclaw Tower was a bit challenging because of limited space, but I did manage to include an amount that is fair for all Ravenclaw students, and I tried to keep the design in line with what we can see in the Gryffindor common room when I designed those dormitories, because I imagine they would be similar, but they just have blue bed sheets, and I used jungle wood for that nice little bronze touch. And of course they have bookshelves and they have candles, so it's nothing special, but it's nice, and it turned out really good in my opinion. The Astronomy Tower. Again, for this classroom we don't have any information at all. We in total have very little information on what is actually located in the Astronomy Tower, so again I could just freeball this and try to see what fits and what doesn't. So we have a few desks, and we have this really nice pattern on the wall, and we have a few different, I'd imagine they'd be little solar system models or little star models. So yeah, it turned out really nice with the detail that we got. The Defense Against the Dark Arts Classroom. In most versions, the Defense Against the Dark Arts Classroom is located in the Defense Against the Dark Arts Tower. But because the Half-Blood Prince doesn't include this tower, I just placed it in the Astronomy Tower, and it actually fits really nicely with where the office is and how big the actual classroom is. So this turned out really nicely, and I mixed versions of it, because as you're going to see in a moment, the office is Umbridge's office, but I tried to go for maybe Lupin's classroom, so it's a bit of a mix, but I think that Umbridge's office is a lot more recognizable, so I chose that one. As you can see, I had a bit of a size issue with Umbridge's office and making it large enough to fit everything, because the tower is, in the end, not quite large enough, because I somehow needed to make her pink wallpaper, so that added another layer of blocks, but it did fit all in the end with a bit of pushing and a bit of squeezing. And I think it looks as horrible and as disgusting as it does in the movies. So that's a win. Right here I'm just adding a few staircases to connect everything. With finishing this staircase, we are done for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like or subscribing. I'm the Phoenix, I hope to see you here the next time, and now let's take a look at the final result. Enjoy!
Now, today we will be transforming animals into water goblets.
One of the wizard's most rudimentary skills is levitation, or the ability to make objects fly. Do you all have your feathers? Good.
Hey, she's only interested in you because she thinks you're the chosen one.
But I am the chosen one. Okay, sorry. Kidding.
I had you looking in the wrong section. How could I be so stupid? I checked this out weeks ago for a bit of light reading.
This is light.
Ridiculous!